Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing today? I'm yours truly, the host of today's show, Brother Ricky, and I am happy to be here with you as per usual. Man, listen, today is a good day. I'm breathing, I'm alive, and I am well, and that is enough to be grateful for, and I hope you all feel the same as well. But let me know. Let me know. It's Valentine's Day, right? For all of you who are watching who has that special someone in their life, I hope you wish them a happy Valentine's Day. Now, me personally, all right, I'll say this for myself. Me personally, I don't have that special love interest in my life right now, and so I don't have to worry about celebrating Valentine's Day like the rest of you. All right, so I'm off the hook. Okay, I'm off the hook for now. Maybe, who knows, in the future, that situation might change for me. I'm not holding my breath. Okay, I'm not holding my breath, but nonetheless, I do want to wish you all a happy Valentine's Day, and also to wish that special someone that is in your corner, that special someone that is also in your life, wish that person a happy Valentine's Day. All right. But yeah, how are you guys doing so far? Okay. Are you guys doing great? Are you guys doing good? All right. How was your weekend? So how has your weekend been so far? With family, friends, loved ones, work, school. How's all that been for you? All right. Has it been great? Has it been fantastic? I sure hope so. It was for you. All right. I hope it was for you, as it was for me. All right. Now let me get all that out of the way. All right. I want to get all that out of the way, and I want to say that the champions have been decided for the NFL Super Bowl. All right. So your new 2026 Super Bowl 60 champions are the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks has taken this year's NFL Super Bowl championships. Congrats to the Seattle Seahawks in winning this year's NFL Super Bowl championship. They finished off with the game 29-13. They defeated the Patriots with 29 points, while the Patriots finished off with 13 points. Now, before the games, I've given my predictions as to who I thought would be the champions for the Super Bowl. Now, I believe everybody and their mama guessed that the Seahawks were going to be the up runners, or the front runners to win this year's NFL Super Bowl. All right, I too predicted that they were going to be the ones who more than likely were going to take this year's W for the championship trophy of the NFL Super Bowl. Now, I had my doubts on particularly Sam Darnold, who is the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I did also suggest that the New England Patriots had a great chance at posing a challenge for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, boy, was I wrong. I was completely wrong in terms of the challenge that was going to be faced with the Seattle Seahawks, because it seemed like this game was a huge breeze. Okay, this game turned out to be really a breeze for the Seattle Seahawks, because for the first three quarters, the Patriots couldn't put up anything. Okay, they could not put up anything on the scoreboard up until the final quarter, which was the fourth quarter of the match. So I want to start off by getting into the stats. So for Drake May, he was able to put up 295 passing yards for the game, while Darnold was only able to put up 202 passing yards. Okay, and then Kenneth Walker was able to put up 135 rushing yards for the game, while Drake May was only able to put up 37. And then for your receiving yards, Hollins was able to put up 78, while Kupp was only able to put up 61 receiving yards. Now, this game was a huge struggle. Well, clearly, right? Clearly the game was a struggle for the Patriots. But in terms of the sacks that the Seattle Hawks were getting, man, yeah, I didn't think it would be this. Oof, like the defense for Patriots were lacking. Okay, for better terms, they were lacking heavily on the defense. Because I also gave my input on, Drake May and Sam Darnold's. How can I say this? Their poise in the big stages, right? Because this was the Super Bowl, right? And you're playing on the big stages, and you want to be able to play under pressure. I praised Drake May's, resilience and poise under pressure during the big stages of the match with, the Super Bowl happening between the Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks, right? Compared to Sam Darnold's ability to being able to play under pressure. It seemed to be for this game that Drake May was struggling in terms of his decisiveness and his calls for plays in terms of passing, right? His terms of finding the open man, right? Finding his running back, being able to make sharp reads and sharp plays for his wide receivers, so on and so forth. During this kind of instance for Drake May, he did seem to be struggling very much, right? During those plays, again, when we're in the Super Bowl, right? And so I was way off course with that one. I mean, granted, he's shown this throughout the playoffs. We were able to see this with him throughout the playoffs, which gave me the reason to warrant that this was going to be nothing different for him in the Super Bowl. And again, it seemed to be that I was completely wrong, because for the first 3 quarters, they couldn't do anything, okay? The Patriots couldn't do anything. They couldn't find any answer to put up any score to put up any scores, on the scoreboard throughout the first 3 quarters, all right? And it's then until the fourth quarter where they were able to put up 13 points. So let's go through this, okay? So for the first quarter, the Seattle Seahawks were able to get a field goal kick to put up 3 points in the scoreboard for, again, the first quarter. And this was done by Jason Myers. Jason Myers hit a 33-yard field goal kick for the Seattle Seahawks to put up 3 points for the Seahawks in the first quarter. And then for the second quarter, they had another field goal kick, okay? Yeah, this was another field goal kick by Jason Myers, who was able to put up a 39-yard field goal kick once again to now add in another 3 points to make it 6. A total of 6 points for the second quarter. I think he was able to put up another one. Yeah, he was able to put up another one again. Right. So another one again for the field goal kick for Jason Myers, which was a 41-yard field goal kick, which warranted them in having 9 points. 9 points in total. And then going into the third quarter, another field goal kick. So it seems to be, right, what it looks like here is that the vast majority of the points for the Seattle Seahawks come from the field goal kicks. They come from the field goal kicks. Now, they did get 2 touchdowns in total for the entirety of the game for the Super Bowl match. But for the most part, the vast majority of their points seem to have come from their field goal kicks. Okay? And then, so that's the third quarter. The third quarter, yes. Jason Myers was able to put in a 41-yard field goal kick for the Seattle Seahawks, which now brought them up to 12 points. 12 whole points. And then for the fourth quarter, finally, the fourth quarter, the Seattle Hawks were able to get in a touchdown with A.J. Barnett putting in a 16-yard pass from Sam Darnold to now getting a touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks, which brings them up to 19 points. And then the New England Patriots finally, come the fourth quarter, were able to also put in a touchdown as well, a full 7-point touchdown with Mac Hollins with a 35-yard pass from Drake May, again, which officially sealed the 7-yard touchdown for the Patriots. And then during the same quarter, the fourth quarter again, Jason Myers was able to get in a 26-yard field goal kick for the Seattle Seahawks, which put them up at 22 points. And then another touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks again from Uchenna Nwosu. I might be butchering the name here, but he had a 45-yard interception. Okay? Nwosu had a 45-yard interception from the New England Patriots, and he was able to get in a touchdown, which sealed the match with 29 points for the Seattle Seahawks. And then finally, the Patriots were able to get in a touchdown as well, which brought them up to 13 points from Ramondre Stevenson, who was able to get in a 7-yard pass touchdown from Drake May, which finished them off with 13 points. Okay, so again, the first quarter, Seattle Seahawks put in 3 points. Second, 6 points. Then third quarter again with another 3 added points. And then for the fourth quarter, they got 17 points in total for the fourth quarter. And then the New England Patriots, nothing for the first quarter, nothing for the second quarter, and nothing for the third quarter. It was only up until the fourth quarter where they were able to put in 13 full points for the Super Bowl. So it sucks. It sucks for the New England Patriots, but make no mistake, again, they have a very, very, very talented player in Drake May, who is their quarterback. This is only his second season, okay? This is only just his second season. Make no mistake, they will be back all over again to the Super Bowl in the later years. But for this year, it belongs to the Seattle Seahawks for your new NFL Super Bowl champions. And then for your MVP, okay, your NFL Super Bowl MVP is going to go to Kenneth Walker III. All right, Kenneth Walker III has been named this year's NFL Super Bowl MVP, who is running back for the Seattle Seahawks. All right. Let me see what we have here. Yeah, this man has been going all out. Okay, when I say all out, he's been going all out throughout the season for the Seahawks, and then he did nothing but show out. He showed up and he showed out for the Super Bowl to secure the W. Okay, this man came in and secured the W. Throughout the fourth quarter, I believe, of the Super Bowl, he was able to get in a 20-yard catch and run to set up the Seahawks' fourth field goal of the game. All right, this was during the fourth quarter, I believe. Sorry, this was not during the fourth quarter. This was after halftime, I believe. Yeah, after halftime. This was what he was able to put in for the Seattle Seahawks. And then he was able to rip off a 14-10 yard, which was able to help the Seahawks take a 22-7 lead against the Patriots. All right. So he was able to put in 48% for the offensive yard, also for the Seattle Seahawks as well. And all this was in turn was able to help the Seattle Seahawks secure a gap. Okay, it was a big gap. Of course, this wasn't only just Kenneth Walker help contributing to making this big gap. Again, you also had Myers, who was able to get in all those field goal kicks for the Seattle Seahawks to be able to put a huge gap in terms of score between the Seahawks and the Patriots. Again, it was not until the fourth quarter where the Patriots were able to finally get some scores on the board. But at that point, it's already over, right? At that point, if you're not able to do anything, if they're able to put in stops throughout the first three quarters, if they were able to stop you from doing anything, because that was the case for the Super Bowl, they were not able to do anything. The Patriots were literally frozen in tracks. They couldn't get any field goal kicks in. They couldn't get any touchdowns in. They were sloppy, I believe, during the final around the fourth quarter, where the Seahawks are able to get an interception from the Patriots. These guys were literally stuck in place. Again, like I brought up before the Super Bowl, the Seattle Seahawks were able to find their groove offensively and defensively. I mean, whatever they were doing has helped them throughout the entirety of the regular season of the NFL and up until the point where they played in the Super Bowl. Their offense, their offensive coordination and their defensive coordination were top tier, cream of the crop, all right? Because that alone was able to help them secure the spot in the Super Bowl and ultimately help them win the Super Bowl. So congratulations to Kenneth Walker III winning this year's NFL MVP and ultimately the Seahawks winning this year's NFL Super Bowl, all right? Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, you guys tell me, all right? Let me know down in the comment section. And I am going live on Facebook and YouTube, all right? So please feel free to let me know in the comments. Did you guys suspect that the Seahawks were going to win this year's NFL Super Bowl? Because I, along with other friends and other people, I guess everybody, again, like I said before, everybody and their mama knew that the Seahawks are going to take this year's NFL Super Bowl championship. Now, again, I thought it was going to be a contending match. I thought it was going to be a close match, right, between the Seahawks and the Patriots. But clearly I was wrong, okay? I was clearly wrong in the matter because this was a breeze, okay, for the Seattle Seahawks. A breeze. So, better luck next time for the Patriots. There's always a next year. And again, don't count the guys out. Surely do not count out Drake May because with a talent like his, they will make it far. No doubt about it. I wouldn't be surprised, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if they made an appearance next year for Super Bowl 61. I wouldn't be surprised. But that is what we have for the Super Bowl. The season is officially over, and we will now be waiting until the NFL draft, which will, I'm sure, be happening in June or May or June. One of those two months, the NFL draft will be taking place then, all right? So stay tuned, okay? Stay tuned for that. And, yeah. Moving on, we are in the Winter Olympics. Okay, we are in the Winter Olympics, I believe, that is already have already taken place. We have a lot of competitions that has already concluded. A lot of them having to do with skiing. Okay, a lot of skiing matches have already taken place for the past couple of days. Now we do have some upcoming matches that are taking place later this afternoon, and we already have some matches that are already taking place right now. Actually, we have some live matches happening right now. But I want to get into a lot of the skiing. We had a lot of the ice hockey matches between men and women, or I believe it's just men. Yeah, ice hockey matches with the men, and then we have a lot of skiing matches that have taken place already as well. Freestyle skiing, they call it. Excuse me. One moment. But we have a lot of skiing happening. We have a lot of ice hockey. We have a lot of and they're freestyle skiing, by the way. Freestyle skiing, ice hockey, short track. That's happening. We have a lot of those happening today, actually. Ski jumping, also happening today. What else? Speed skating. Speed skating happening today as well. Or actually, it's already happened today, and it's finished and it's in the women's with the Netherlands and China. Yeah, the Netherlands and China. Competition between them in terms of speed skiing, and then we have what was the other one? Curling. Yes, we also have curling as well. I'm not quite familiar with this kind of event. This is the first I've ever heard of a sporting event that goes by curling. I'm not too familiar with that, but that has also taken place today as well. And we have some more that's going to be happening later on this afternoon at 1 p.m. Okay, so let's get into the. I want to get into the hockeys, the skiing first. So for the women's skiing, we have the freestyle skiing. For the women's skiing, between E. Lemley, who's coming from out of the United States, and then we have P. Lafont, who's coming from France. And it seems to be that the winner of this match, the freestyle skiing match, was E. Lemley coming from the United States with 18, and Lafont only finished off with 17. So this was freestyle skiing. Now, the rules and the rules of how this freestyling skiing is supposed to, I think it's a performance. I think it's a performance with the freestyle skiing, and I believe the competitor with the best performance is the one that comes out on top with the win. I don't know how I don't know what the bases are in terms of how each person gets the points. I don't know if it has to do with, a certain trick or performance. I don't know what the bases are of how you get the points. But again, all in all, it seems to be that E. Lemley came out with the best performance, which allowed her to come out on top in defeating P. Lafont from France. So congratulations to her. And then another freestyle skiing between Jay Anthony coming out of Australia and Jay Koff coming out of the United States. Jay Anthony from Australia came out on top, defeating Koff, who came from the United States, with 20 points, while Jay Koff finished off with 15 points. So that's the results from that matchup. And I don't know if there's like a semifinal or quarterfinal that's going to happen with these players that defeat their opponents. But I'm going to continue to move on with Jay Anthony, also coming from Australia, and Giacchio. I might be butchering the last name here, but Giacchio coming from the United States with Jay Anthony coming from Australia. Anthony seems to have come out on top, defeating Giacchio for this event with 20 points, while Giacchio finished off with 15 points. And then again, we have Lafont from France. Or no, excuse me. That was the matchups before. Okay, so those are the matchups with the freestyling event, the freestyle skiing events, with their players finishing out with the win against their opponent. And then for today's later match at 1 p.m., we will continue to go with I believe, is it No, it's the round one competition for the freestyling event, skiing event, which will be happening at 1:30 p.m. I'm trying to figure out who the competitors are. I don't think I see any competitors. Yeah, I don't see any of the competitors being named here, but we have the freestyle skiing events that will be taking place at 1:30 p.m. today, this afternoon, another at 2:15 p.m. this afternoon, and then we have another at 3 o'clock p.m. this afternoon. And then we have a lot of ski jumping events that are also happening this afternoon at 12:45 p.m. They're not pulling up the competitors who are competing in these events. I don't know why. I'm trying to see who's going to be in the events. But yeah, the ski jumping events will be happening at 12:45 p.m. and another will be taking place at 1:57 p.m. And then we have a speed skating event that will be happening this actually at 11 a.m. So in like a couple minutes, not even a couple of minutes, but at 11 a.m. there will be a speed skating event that's happening today. Again, I don't see the competitors for this match, but I do know that the competitors will be coming from the Netherlands and China, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me, sorry, I take that back. Okay, so we do have our competitors. Okay, so it seems to be a lot of competitors too. I'll just let you know that for the most part, the competitors are going to be coming from. They're going to be coming. Actually, I can't even do that either. I cannot. Yeah, I can't even do that either. So, okay, I'll give you the names. Okay, I'll give you the names. It's a long list here, so bear with me. Bear with me. It is a long list here, and I might be butchering the last names too, so forgive me. But we have a player coming from Canada that goes by the name Juentner, who is going to be competing. Klein, another player is going to be competing. Ruke, Ruke is going to be competing as well. Dombeck will be competing for this year's speed skating for the Olympics. Rosanelli, Jay Rosanelli, coming from Italy, is going to be competing. Stoppelmore, Z Stoppelmore, from the U.S. will be competing, and Lop will also be competing. KM Koo will be competing. A. Johnson from Canada will also be competing. P. Michalski will be competing. J. Wennemars will be competing. Z.W. Lian from Chine is going to be competing. C. Brunette from Canada is going to be competing. K. Kuratsubo will be competing. Z.W. Ju, I believe from China, will be competing. T. Shinhama from Japan, I believe, will be competing. M. Kania will also be competing. L. Dubril from Canada will be competing. C. McLeod from the U.S. will be competing. M. Liv is going to be competing as well. Y. Koshkin will be competing. J. Kim will be competing. T.Y. Gao is going to be competing. J. Stolz from the U.S. will be competing. J. Debu will be competing. D. Zurich will be competing. S. Diniz. W. Morishige. And B. Magnuson are all your competitors for the speed skating event that will be happening at, again, 11 o'clock today. All right? So those are your matches for the speed skating event. And then for the curling, we have some live matches that are happening currently right now between the United States and Germany. It seems to be that United States is coming out on top. And then we had another curling match that happened earlier this morning with Canada and Swiss, where Switzerland has come out on top with 8 points, defeating Canada. And then we have two other matches, Czech Republic versus Great Britain. Britain seems to be the team coming out on top. And then we have Sweden and China also happening. And Sweden is also beating China with 6 points, with China only having 3. We have your matches again that are happening today later on, with the United States, I believe, going up against, who else? Japan at 1:05 p.m. We also have a match between Italy and Sweden happening at 1:05 p.m. as well. And then we have another match between Canada and Switzerland at 1:05 p.m. And then finally we have a match between the Republic of Korea versus Denmark at 1:05 p.m. All right? So it's a stacked match, right? Packed out match with these sporting events happening for your 2026 Winter Olympics. So stay tuned in for that. Stay tuned in for that. All right? Moving on from the Olympics, and this is crazy. But we have the NBA All-Stars. The NBA All-Stars has taken place starting from, I believe, Friday, yesterday, or maybe even before that. We had them taking place even Thursday, actually, if I'm not mistaken. But we have your NBA All-Star matches happening currently as we speak. But yeah, so you have your NBA All-Star events happening. We had the Rising NBA All-Star Rising Castrol events, which are rising stars. Okay, so you have your rising stars from the NBA. Most notably, we have the player coming out of the Philadelphia 76ers, VJ Edgecombe. You already know this guy is a hooper. Okay, a hooper. VJ Edgecombe, playing for Team Vince Carter, has come out on top in defeating, I believe it was Team Carmelo Anthony. Let me take a look real fast. Excuse me. Exactly, yes. So it was Team Vince Carter. And again, for the players for Team Vince Carter, you had, let me take a look. Yeah, so Team Vince Carter, you had Matas Buzelis from the Chicago Bulls, Cedric Coward from the Grizzlies, Igor Demon from the Nets, and then VJ Edgecombe again from the Philadelphia 76ers, Keyshawn George from the Washington Wizards, Derek Queen from the Pelicans, and then Jalen Wells again from the Memphis Grizzlies. This was the team, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this was a team that came out on top, winning this year's NBA All-Star Rising Star Castrol's event. And you had VJ Edgecombe, who was this year's MVP. And I'm not surprised, okay? I'm definitely not surprised because, again, you already know VJ Edgecombe is, again, a certified hooper, coming out on top to defeat Carmelo Anthony and his team, which was Ace Bailey of the Utah Jazz, Stephon Castle of the Spurs, Donovan Clingan of the Trailblazers, Jeremiah Fears of the Pelicans, Cooper Flagg of the Dallas Mavs, Dylan Harper of the Spurs, Colin Murray Boyles of the Raptors, and finally Reed Shepherd of the Houston Rockets. All right. So again, Team Vince came out on top, defeating the Team Melo. And then you also had your other teams as well. You had Team T-Mac and Team Austin. These two teams were blown out the park already. So congratulations to VJ Edgecombe taking that MVP trophy home from defeating Carmelo Anthony. But those were your matches for yesterday's event. Okay, those were yesterday's events matches. Game one was between Team Melo and Team Austin. Team Melo again blew Team Austin out the park, and I believe Team Austin was a roster of G League players coming out of the G League. Okay, the ending score between two teams was Melo 40 and Austin 34. Okay, and then game two, we had Team Vince going up against Team T-Mac, where Vince obviously came out on top, defeating T-Mac with 41, and T-Mac ended up finishing with 36, okay? And then you had the championship match, okay? The championship match, which was again between Carmelo Anthony and Team Vince. And like I said before, Team Vince was a team that came out on top, which was 25 points for Team Vince, and Carmelo Anthony 24 points. This was a close game. It's a 1-point game difference, 24 and 25. Yeah, 24 and 25. So a close game, but winner comes out on top, and close is not close enough, all right? It's not close enough, and so Team Vince comes out on top with, again, VJ Edgecombe winning this year's MVP for Rising Star Castro event for the NBA All-Stars, all right? So those were your matches for yesterday. And now for today. Today, I believe we have our slam dunk contests, which will be happening. Yes, our slam dunk contest for today will be happening at 5 p.m. All right, and we already have our contestants for this year's NBA All-Star Slam Dunk Contest. Now, the winner for last year's Slam Dunk Contest will not be competing for this year's Slam Dunk Contest. And if you remember, last year's Slam Dunk Contest champion was Mac McClung. Mac McClung. Mac McClung was last year's Slam Dunk contestant winner. Okay, he won the year before. He won 3 years in a row. Mac McClung won 3 years in a row. How could I forget this? So it was back in 2023 when he played for the 76ers, and then again in 2024 playing for the Magic, and then again last year again, still while playing for the Magic, Mac McClung won all 3 times, 3 years in a row, back to back. And so again, this year, it seems to be that he will not be competing for the Slam Dunk Contest, as far as I can see here, yeah. So he will not be competing for this year's Slam Dunk Contest, but the ones that are competing are going to be Carter Bryant, who's coming from the San Antonio Spurs, Jackson Hayes, who's coming out of the Los Angeles Lakers, Jace Richardson, who's coming from the Orlando Magic, and finally, Keshad Johnson, who will be coming from the Miami Heat. Okay? So these are your 4 contestants for this year's NBA All-Star Slam Dunk Contest. Who's going to take this? I'm not too familiar with the rest of the players other than Jackson Hayes. But then again, I don't know how efficient or how well talented he is for the Slam Dunk Contest. I don't know. But all in all, I'm not going to put a prediction for this. We'll just have to wait and see who comes out on top. If Mac was the one who was still going to be competing for this year's NBA Dunk Contest, then I would have put my predictions in and said that Mac McClung would make it a 4-peat for a champion a championship, a trophy for this slam dunk contest. But again, obviously, he's not going to be competing this year. So I'm not putting in any predictions for this. Again, we'll just have to wait and see who comes out on top in this year's NBA All-Stars Slam Dunk Contest. And then for your shooting, three-point shooting, hold on. Who's competing? We have our competitors. Okay, so our competitors that are going to be competing for this year's three-point contest, because that is also going to be taking place today as well. Okay, so your three-point contestants are going to be Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns. We have Damian Lillard. Now, for Damian Lillard, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's supposed to be injured, right? From my understanding, he was supposed to be injured and not participating for this year's three-point contest. I don't know what's happening here because his name has been named, or he has been listed to be a contestant for this year's three-point contest. So if that is the case, we all know Damian Lillard. He is a sniper, okay? Damian Lillard is a sharpshooter when it comes to shooting threes. So if he is competing in this year's three-point contest, this might be in the bag for him. But again, like I said, I did hear that he was supposed to be injured, which would warrant him from playing or competing in this year's three-point contest. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. Me, again, considering seeing his name on the list, I don't know. But again, I'll leave that there. We have Donovan Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers, who's also going to be competing for this year's three-point contest. We have Bobby Portis, which I'm not sure why he's on there. I don't know how well he is at three-point shooting, but he's going to be also in the three-point contest. We have Kanku Nepal. I'm not surprised here. This guy is very good at shooting threes as well. I don't know his percentage, but he is very efficient in his three-point shooting. So Kanku Nepal of the Charlotte Hornets will also be competing for this year's three-point contest. And Tyrese Maxey, another very efficient, very great three-point shooter. He will be competing for this year's three-point contest as well. Tyrese Maxey coming out of the Philadelphia 76ers. We have Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets who will be competing in this year's three-point contest. And then finally, Norman Powell of the Miami Heat will be also competing for this year's NBA three-point contest. So, let me know down in the comment section of Facebook and on YouTube. Let me know who you guys think will come out on top for this year's NBA All-Star three-point contest. I'm going to say it's going to go to Tyrese Maxey. I would say Damian Lillard, but again, I don't know his conditions or what's happening here because I'm hearing so many mixed things with him. But on the safer side, I'm going to stay with Tyrese Maxey because he is very, very, very efficient in terms of his three-point shooting. Three-point shooting for Tyrese Maxey is up there, of course, along with Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Kanku Nepal, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to put my chips on Tyrese Maxey here. But let me know, okay? Don't feel shy. I won't bite. Let me know your opinions on Facebook and YouTube, who you think will take this year's NBA All-Stars three-point contest, all right? That's going to be your contestants for the three-point contest. And then for tomorrow, it will be the All-Star games with USA versus the world. I think it's USA Stars and USA Stripes and versus the world. Now, this was weird. This is strange. I think this is the first time they've done this, right? Because it's always been East versus West, or team so-and-so versus team so-and-so. That's how they used to do it in previous All-Star games. Now, I think now they're doing it a little bit differently because when I heard that they were doing it this way with Team USA versus the world, I thought this was a Olympics game. All right, I thought this was an Olympics game, but this is obviously not an Olympics game. This is an All-Star game, and so the way that they're conducting it is all but new to me. So this will be the game that will be taking place tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow on Sunday, and the lineups for each team for USA Stars is Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Johnson, and Tyrese Maxey for Team USA Stars. And then Team USA Stripes, you have Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Stephen Curry. I think Stephen Curry will not be competing. I don't think he'll be. I don't think he will be in attendance to this year's game because I did see something online. Let me take a look. Hold on. One moment. Yep, yep, I was right. So Stephen Curry will not be competing, okay? He'll be out of the NBA All-Stars game tomorrow, and I believe it's due to an injury. Yes, it says he has succumbed to a right knee injury, which will warrant him from skipping tomorrow's All-Star game. So, yeah. So we won't be seeing Curry. We won't be seeing Curry play tomorrow. But again, Team USA starts will be Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Kevin Durant, De'Aaron Fox, Brandon Ingram, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, and Donovan Mitchell for Team USA Stripes. And then for the world, all right, the Team World will be Giannis Antetokounmpo, but I see a dot, so I think he will also be missing tomorrow's game as well. But Denny Avdia, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think he also will be missing tomorrow's game as well. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Norman Powell, Alperen Sengun, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns, and finally, Victor Wembanyama. This is your roster for Team World, all right? So again, this is a first, okay? This is a first that I've seen of this, and I wonder how they're going to make this happen or how they're going to do this, but that's your roster. And yes, I was correct. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will also not be in attendance for tomorrow's game to play alongside everybody else in Team World, all right? So, stay tuned in for that. Honestly, I'm going to be very honest with you guys, okay? Very, very, very honest with you guys will I be when I say that the NBA All-Star Games, honestly, in my opinion, it doesn't seem so fun to watch anymore. Can I just be honest with you guys? Can I be very, very honest with you guys? The NBA All-Stars, I don't see much excitement watching the All-Stars anymore. I get it. These guys don't really put too much effort when it comes to, performance, right? It's just another game. They're just there to do some, extra stuff. I don't know. But all in all, it's just not as exciting to watch anymore as they used to be. This might just be me, right? You guys might think differently, and if you do, let me know what your thoughts are in terms of like how the NBA All-Stars is being conducted. But for me personally, it just doesn't seem too much fun to watch anymore. Maybe you could start tuning into like the celebrity games, right? The celebrity matches, or the 3-point contests and the slam dunk contest. I do enjoy watching the slam dunk contest, right? I enjoy watching that. But other than that, the All-Star games, Again, those that happened in the last days of the NBA All-Stars. Again, they don't seem so fun to watch anymore, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Or no, I'm lying. I lied. I do know what it is. But again, it's not fun to watch anymore, and so I don't know. I still may tune in to see some of the highlights and stuff like that, but if you all are enthusiastic about seeing or tuning into the NBA All-Stars, please feel free to do so. Again, you have your 3-point contest happening today, this afternoon, and you also have your slam dunk contest as well. So stay tuned into that, and let me know who do you think is gonna be coming out on top for both events. All right. So that's all I have for you for the NBA All-Stars. And before I leave, I did want to get into a topic, but I might have to save it for our next meetup. I'll definitely have to save this for our next meetup, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a sprinkle, okay? A little bit of a sneak peek into the topic that I want to get into. This topic might take in a half of the show for our next meetup, but here is the topic that I wanted to get into for our next meetup next Saturday. Okay, so here's the topic. I had a friend bring this topic up to me yesterday, actually. Okay, which was an interesting topic that I thought it was, and it's this. Okay, do you all think that now Cooper Flagg, do you think that he could be the more better player compared to Luka Doncic? I'm going to ask this question one more time, just in case, because I want to make sure you guys heard me clearly here, okay? I want to make sure you guys heard me clearly, and this will be the topic of discussion for next Saturday. Do you think that Cooper Flagg could be the better player than Luka Doncic, either now or in the next 2 seasons? I'll leave that right there. All right? I'll leave that right there. I'll let that simmer in your minds a little bit, and we'll pick up this discussion next Saturday, okay? We'll pick up this discussion next Saturday, but I'll leave that there. Cooper Flagg and Luka Doncic, who could be the better player now or in the next 2 seasons? I will get into the verse of the day. Allow me to get into the verse of the day. And the verse of the day, the verse of the day will be coming from John chapter 13, verses 34 through 35. Again, the verse will be coming from John chapter 13, verses 34 through 35. Verset la sorti dans Jean chapitre 13, verset 34 à 35. Encore verset sorti dans Jean chapitre 13, verset 34 à 35. I will begin reading. And it reads, "A new command I give you. Love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another." Allow me to read this verse for you, or these 2 verses for you, one more time. And it reads, "A new command I give you. Love one another as I have loved you. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another." So, the verses pretty much speak for themselves. Okay, they speak for themselves. I've dug into this plenty of times, right? As people who follow Christ, who live in obedience to the word, right? We understand who God is, right? And for those of you who may not know who Jesus is, who God is excuse me, God is love. God is love. And so if God is love, and we are people who follow Jesus, obey his word, obey him, then we too must also learn to live in love. Live our lives in accordance to love. Because we want people who see us, right, see God in us, see Jesus in us, by the way we carry ourselves, by the way we act, by the way we treat people, irrespective of how other people may treat us. I understand it is hard, it is difficult, because there are days where you may run into people who may get on your last nerves. All right? You may run into people who just blatantly, outright disrespects you, right? People who treat you horribly, terribly. And now, I'm not saying to allow people to walk all over you. I'm not saying that. But try your best to live your life with love, to treat people with love. Because when people see you that way, when people see you living your life in accordance to love, treating people with love, again, as the verse says, people will know that you are followers of Jesus Christ. People will know that you are disciples of Jesus by the way that you live, by the accordance of how you live your daily life. And so I encourage you, okay? I encourage each and every single one of you to live your life in accordance to God's will, and that will is love, to love your neighbors, and to, yes, love your enemies. I know, I can already hear everybody in the background going, what? Love my enemies? Ricky, are you crazy? Yes. Yes, I am crazy. And look, it's not me. It's not me saying this. This is coming from the Bible itself. Love your neighbors and love your enemies. Bon Dieu dit nous comme ça pour vivre la vie nous avec l'amour. C'est comme ça bon Dieu veut nous pour vivre, pour faire toute vie nous sous terre. Parce que là on fait comme ça, tout le monde qui well, ou va connaître aussi un monde qui serve bon Dieu. Et puis c'est ça au besoin. Ou besoin monde pour connaître aussi un monde qui serve bon Dieu, parce que pour monde ça qui pas moun sa qui pas connaît qui est bon Dieu, li ka prend chance ça pour capable connaître bon Dieu dans la vie personnelle. OK? Moun sa ka prend chance ça pour capable connaître qui bon Dieu a servi, parce que li ouais aussi un monde qui vive la vie avec l'amour. C'est comme ça bon Dieu dit nous pour faire pour vivre sur la terre. Pour vivre avec l'amour dans le cœur. M'ka comprendre c'est vrai gen des moun qui toujours pose un pile problème dans la vie. M'ka comprendre ça. M'ka comprendre gen un pile moun qui bo un pile problème. Yo gen un pile moun qui maltraité, mais faut capable connaître bon Dieu c'est l'amour. Bon Dieu c'est l'amour. OK? Et bon Dieu ça observe li mande pour gagner l'amour dans cœur. Qui joue ça qui joue lié? It's Valentine's Day, right? It's Valentine's Day. Jour ça c'est un jour pour l'amour. OK? Pour nous capable gagner l'amour. On pas connaître si nous gagnons ménage ou bien si nous gagnons mari ou bien madame ou bien si nous mariés, but jour ça c'est jour l'amour. OK? Bon Dieu dit nous comme ça pour nous gagner l'amour dans cœur pour tout le monde. Pas seulement moun ou connaît, ou bien pas seulement moun ou bien avec. Mais bon Dieu dit nous comme ça pour gagner l'amour pour l'ennemi yo. Tout ennemi qui dans la vie, bon Dieu dit nous comme ça pour gagner l'amour pour moun ça aussi. OK? Pour chaque monde, pour tout le monde. Parce que depuis ou vivre la vie comme ça, right? Quand vous gagnez l'amour dans le cœur, tout le monde qui a gardé sous, ou va besoin connaître qui bon Dieu a servi, et puis moun ça li va prendre chance pour capable gagner une relation avec bon Dieu lui-même tout. OK? So encore m'encourager Kembe l'amour nan cœur. Kembe l'amour pour chaque moun nan cœur. Et puis bon Dieu, pas manquer bénir. All right? I encourage you all. Have love in your heart. Love your neighbors. Love your enemies. Today is Valentine's Day. Regardless of whether you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife, choose to hold love in your heart, because that is what the Lord asks of us, to have love and to show love each and every single day. Not just a day specific to this, not just only on Valentine's Day, but every single day. And with that, I love you guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. For all of you who has tuned in, Mom, Dad, Goche, thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And to every single person that is watching me live on YouTube right now, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate your love, your support, and I encourage you to share, 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 and the Lord God will bless you. I love you guys, and I appreciate you, and I will see you all on Saturday.